This week's job is a Land Rover Defender 90. So there was quite a few jobs to do to this one. Some of the jobs included tidying up some corrosion around the front screen, tidying up the front bumper, the side steps and the rear cross member. Also it needed undersealing, but the main thing it come in for was to tidy up these fiberglass covers that's on these quarter panels. So the lacquers started peeling off these. Doesn't look very good. Also there's a crack right round that fake seam. So that crack's going to have to be ground out and filled with something that's not going to come back, well hopefully not going to come back and crack again. I believe these panels have been repaired and painted several times, so it's going to be quite challenging. Here's a look at the rear cross member. So this was another little job that needed to be done. You see there's rust on there, just needed to be cleaned up, treated and painted again. I started the job by giving it a good wash off. I needed to remove any contaminants off the paintwork. I also needed to give it a good blast off underneath to remove any muck that might be under there, because the last job that I need to do on this vehicle before it goes out is to give it a good underseal. And here's the product I'm going to use for that job. I've never used it before, so we'll just have to see how it goes. Well, that's the Land Rover now washed and in the garage. Yes, I did get soaking wet through when I washed it. Never mind, quick change of clothes, let's get on with the strip down. I started the strip down by removing the side steps. As you can imagine, all the nuts and bolts were quite corroded up. With a wire brush and some penetrating oil and a bit of brute force, I managed to get them all free. The next job I did was remove the rear bumperettes, but they weren't too bad to remove. There wasn't really much to come off this one. A few more bits to come off the front and that was it really. Well, I've got most of the bits off that I wanted to get off now, apart from the bumper. So I wanted to take the front bumper off. However, I can't get these bolts out because they won't come up past here, they won't clear here. And I'm not stripping the front end down just to get the bumper off. So we're going to have to do that in situ. So we've got some cracks here on these arches. It looks to me like it's the gel coating on the fiberglass. So we get it on the bike fairings, on the track fairings. When we get them delivered, a lot of the time the coating that's on the actual fiberglass, it pops. So you've got to grind it out and then fill it. I think on here I'm going to maybe use a plastic filler because it's more flexible. It'd be more suited to fill this, I think, than like a filler that you'd use on metal. So I've been grafting away on here and I've been digging it out, digging the crack out in that fiberglass arch. You can see it's been painted several times before. You can see all them different coats of primer and paint and lacquer. So my guessing is it's cracked several times before and it's been repaired several times before. Probably sanded back and high build primered in there, maybe there's a bit of filler in it, and then paint it over again. Got some of this plastic filler mixed up now. and I'm just going to run it in with my finger. Just going to finger it in there. So I've got that filler in there now. So we need to do something while we're waiting for that to go off. We'll order the paint. So the paint code for Land Rovers is under the bonnet and it's on a tag there. You see it's got paint on it. And this one is 907 and it's Stornoway Grey. Well, that's the paint ordered, and another job I've got to get on with is these side steps. So I'm going to take these off. That looks like it's already come off. Yeah. So they're just basic rubbers with a bit of checker plating on them. When I came to do the passenger side, I found it was a little worse. I had to use a fiberglass bridging filler before I could then go over it with the plastic filler. The product I'm using is perfect for this job and it's made by Rover. Again, I just mix it up and then apply it with my finger. Once it's gone off, I knock it down and then I apply the plastic flexible filler. If I didn't mention before why I'm using a plastic filler for this job, it's because it's flexible. The filler that's been used before has obviously failed because it doesn't flex, it just cracks in the joint. So I'm hoping that by using a plastic filler, with it being flexible, it won't crack. Fingers crossed, time will tell. So I spent a few minutes cleaning up that side step and I thought I would check on the filler. So I've come over and checked on the filler. So that filler had actually gone off. So what I've done is I've just put a second skim in now. I've also started this side, which is pretty much the same, and I've got a skim in there as well. Now, I just want to show you something else. So, another little repair that I'm going to do is I found some corrosion around here. So what I've done is I've got some electrical cable and I've just pulled this rubber from the screen. I've just lifted it off the body there by pushing some electrical cable behind it. I'm not going to take the screen out. It is a heated screen. I don't want to risk cracking it. So what I'm going to do is what I've done there basically, just put that cable behind, a bit of cable like that, bit of a trick, and it just lifts that rubber off so you can get the paint behind. Right, it's getting late, so I've jumped forward a lump. This is where we're at. We've got it masked up, and we've got the filler in there, that's dolphin glaze again, so this is this stuff. Got this arch all masked up, It's all feathered out. Gone over there and feathered it out with the DA. Knocked the top off that, put some rust treatment on it, and that's masked off, ready for primer. This side's now finished as well. So again, I've just put some filler in there, some of that plastic filler, and then I've sanded it off. I feathered all this edge out, went over it with a 240 and then 400 on the DA. There was some lacquer peel here, I've took that out. There's some lacquer peel there, I've took that out. Them side rails, they're both completely sanded, and I've put some of this rust treatment on them. So use a nitromoss again, the same as what I used on the Audi last week. So the last bits to get ready are these here. They need sanding up and then priming, but I'm going to do them in the morning. We've got the primer in the gun, and we're going to be using the Rover again. We've got the fan on, blowing some warm air into the booth. I'm so happy with that fan, by the way. So I made that before Christmas. Basically, it's got a space heater in it outside in like a contained unit, and it is drawing warm air from outside. So it blows in this way and it extracts up out of that unit there. Time to put some paint on. Sorted. So I'm going to come in the morning, I'm going to demask the job down, I'm going to prep it up, and then it'll be all to mask up again and then get it all in paint. I've got to stone chip the bits that are going to be black, so I'm going to stone chip the back bumper, the side steps. I've got the front bumper to do yet as well, so I'm going to stone chip the front bumper. Then I was hoping to paint them gloss black as well on top of that, tidy it all up, make a better job. So we'll see how it goes tomorrow. I opened up the next morning and I demasked the vehicle. I started by prepping up the primed area with 240 production paper. I then wet flatted the whole panels with 800 wet or dry. After that I give the panels a scotch off, cleaned it down and masked it up ready for paint. Absolute nightmare, absolute nightmare. But we're done and we're ready for paint. Before I start putting the paint on, I give the panels a good clean down and a dusting over with a plastic adhesion promoter. So this product just helps the paint stick in any tricky areas. With the panels cleaned down and the adhesion promoter now applied, it's time to start putting the paint on. I start by applying the base coat first, and I use my Anti-Water LS400 paint gun. I start out by dusting on the first coat. I let that dry off and then I tack off all the panels. Next I apply 2 more additional coats, and between both of these coats I also tack off, and I leave 15 minutes between both coats to dry. Last but not least, I apply a drop coat. So this is just a light dusting over the panels, and this is to make sure all the metallics are uniform. Once the base coat's dry, generally after 15 to 20 minutes, I give the panels a tack off and then apply the lacquer. And the gun I'm using for this is my Anti-Water Classic. I apply the lacquer in 2 stages, one light coat, I'll let it go off for 15 minutes, and then one heavier coat. The heavier coat is the final finishing coat. You'll see this lacquer's thick as it's a quick drying lacquer. It takes a bit longer to apply. I've not used it with this gun before, so it'd be quite interesting to see what it turns out like. With the vehicle all painted and now demasked, it was time to put it back together. With the vehicle all now back together, it was time to underseal, and I used a product called Lacquer. I'd never used this before, but it seemed pretty good. Before applying, obviously I pressure washed underneath the vehicle several days before, and I also cleaned it up with a wire brush. The product wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be to apply. With that job done, it was now time to clean the vehicle down, and I used this fantastic product that I get from Halfords called Spray on Shine. This is an excellent quick clean product, and it's only about 5 or 6 quid. Well, this is the bit you've all been waiting for. The job is now complete. Watch right to the end to see the before and after. I hope some of you guys are generous enough to give me a thumbs up for the video. I've spanked out about 45 hours doing the repair work and another 15 hours doing this video. Hopefully it's worthy of some likes and some positive comments. Talking of likes and comments, I just want to thank everyone that liked my last video, and I want to thank everyone that commented. Also, if you're new to the channel, I hope you subscribe to see more of my content. Thanks for watching.